300 years ago today, the world was on the brink of disaster. But historians can piece together a pretty precise picture of the pre-post modern Gothic Renaissance era.
Well, we don't know many details due to the great data corruption of 2132 in the Chinese-Prussian War, but we can tell from carbon dating that 2020 was the year that started it all. It was a very dangerous time. People really thought the world was coming to an end.
The 2020 virus, or as it was known back then, Karen virus, was much like our modern day flu, but without the advancement of modern medicine, it was deadly to the population. That is, of course, before a miracle cure was found.
Thankfully, a brilliant president discovered just in time that you could actually cure the disease by injecting common household disinfectants.
It truly was a miracle. Up until then, people had been forced to stay inside. After a while, the people started to rebel. It had gotten so bad that the states of Ohio and Mississippi had seceded from the Union. Of course, the Founding Fathers had anticipated a crisis like this and acted appropriately.
Well, we know today from studying ancient scriptures and texts that there was a group in the process of being formed called the Incels, a rebellion group that was against the government. Of course, they would later form the beginnings of the Republican Party we know and love today. The politics of the day didn't resemble the two-party system we have. Back then, the rules and laws were created using a rather rudimentary home voting system that was easily manipulated.
Every week, there would be a new issue to vote on. The press secretary would appear on television and ask the community to text yes or no, and they would tally the votes.
We can actually see from our fossil records that the country formerly known as Australia was completely destroyed by fires. It was this, we believe, that pushed them towards independence from their queen.
What emerged out of this bloody civil war was a new leader for the country, a mysterious figure known only to history as the Tiger King.
Yes, we don't know much about the Tiger King, but from these primitive drawings we found in the South Yarra caves, we can assume he was a very powerful and important figure. Historians would call these types of people influencers, those that everyday people would admire and follow.
Other notable influences from this time include Charles Manson, Rupert Murdoch, and Tony Robbins.
Another quite large aspect of life in those times was spirituality. And while it is not clear exactly what their beliefs were, we believe many had worshipped a god named Tesla. Tesla was a rather complex figure. As the lore goes, many stories tell of him being the savior of the people, creating energy, space travel, things of that nature.
Warning, airlock breached. Oxygen running low.
While at the same time, he was also a trickster god, often framing the heroes of the day as child abusers, or in one case making many of his own followers poor by just uttering 4 simple words.
We may never know the origins of Tesla, but what we do know is, whatever it was, it is responsible for our world and what it is today.
Legends can be traced back to show that Tesla, whatever entity that may have been, tore open the portal to the netherworld that summoned Bala from the depths of the 7 circles of hell.
Although fearful of Bala at first, the people eventually warmed to him, and before the year was out, he was successful in his long-shot third-party candidacy for the White House.
And as we all know, Bala went on to rule for the next 66 years, making him just the second demon to serve 17 consecutive terms.
Despite being a demon, he did a better job than any human ever did of leading the world. He built hospitals, schools, funded the sciences. You know, say what you will about his satanic agenda, but his foreign policy really did wonders for the world and the state that it was in.
And like that, the world's darkest chapter came to a close. Humanity seemingly burning to ashes, only for a phoenix to arise. Of course, now we take our smooth leadership for granted, but we must look to the past to see how good we have it. Leaders like Bala paved the way for Bagul, Baal II, and of course, Jeb.
It's events in history like these that we can all look at and just go, bloody hell, let's make sure that never happens again.
Coming up next on the History Channel, the amazing lost city of Antarctica.
Now Brian, for 10 points, can you name the organisation your grandfather fought with in the Second World War?
Oh, okay, that's easy. The French Resistance.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. The correct answer was the Armed Breton Division of the SS.
What? No, that's not possible.
Can't argue with history, Brian.